Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I'm going to show you guys how to do the cloud manicure. I've had lots of you ask on Instagram and on the blog because I've been doing a lot of these lately. And I know that it's taken me so long to get this up, and I'm sorry, but I've just been so busy. But first, I need to say, this design, this is not my design. Nailside did this originally, and I will link her in the down bar. She has a tutorial on her blog, and it's really good. So I'm not trying to take credit for this design. I did not come up with this. I'm just showing you guys how I do it. So the colors that we're going to use today, we're going to use Nomad by Illamasqua and Cameo by Illamasqua, I don't know. And then my in-between color is Julie G White Orchid. And someone also asked me if I do both hands when I do these designs, and I always do both hands, but today I'm just going to show you guys on this hand. So the cloud mani, it's a little tricky to show or to tell you guys how to do it, but what we're going to be doing, we're going to take our white polish, and you want to get the brush nice and clean, get all the excess polish off of the brush. And then what we're going to be doing, we're going to dip our brush into the polish without touching the sides and just get a little bead of polish on the end of your brush. And then we're going to put that bead of polish down on the nail and swipe it down to the tip. And that little bead is what gives us that little rounded look at the bottom there. And I'm starting on the right side of the nail and working my way to the left. And with each line that you do, you get a little higher up on the nail toward the tip so that it kind of, you know, you get that look there. I can't think of the word that I need, but anyway. So get your brush nice and clean. And you want to pick a polish that is opaque, because you don't want to have to go over this like 2 or 3 times. And you want to pick a polish that has a thinner brush. Like the OPI brushes are pretty thick. I would wait to use a thicker brush until you're a little more comfortable with this design. So we're just going to get a little bead of polish on the end. See how I got that little bead of polish there? And then we're just going to go about 3/4 of the way down, put the brush down, and then just swipe up to the edge of the nail. And I usually make a second swipe, but when I do that second swipe, I'm just getting the excess polish off. I do not go the whole way down to the edge because you will mess up your little rounded bottom there. So if you need to get some of the excess polish off, just don't go the whole way down. So I'm going over to the right, or over to the left, I'm sorry, to the left, and up just a little bit, down, and just to the edge of the nail. And then I'm just going to get that excess polish off there. See how I'm doing that? Let's get another little bead. And you don't want to have too much polish. That's the hardest part of this mani, knowing how much polish to get on your brush. So over to the left and just down and up. So with each swipe, I'm going up further toward the tip. That's how you get that look there. A little bit more. There we go. Let me get that excess off there because I have a lot there. If you don't want to get the excess off, you don't have to. But I find that if you don't, it gets kind of thick by the time you're ready to do your third color. So I'll go ahead and do my ring finger here. So just a little bead of polish there. And same thing. 3/4 of the way down. Just put the brush down and up to the tip. See, now I didn't get enough polish on that one, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And it doesn't matter if some of the spots don't have as much polish. All that needs to look good is the end, because that's all that's going to be sticking out. So it doesn't matter if the white doesn't fully cover the nail. That's okay, as long as it's opaque down at your edges there. So another little bead over to the left a little bit and just go down and up to the tip. And I'm not making any swooshy movements. I'm not doing anything fancy. The bead of polish on the edge of the brush is what is giving us that nice rounded look. So I'm not making any special movement. See? So yesterday I posted a tutorial for this last night, and I actually took it down because a couple people made comments that it wasn't informative enough, and I'm sorry that I'm shaky. I'm like at a weird angle here. But I took it down because I did watch it through again then after I got those comments, and I did realize that I did talk a lot in it. And I'm sorry for that. I do talk a lot, but so hopefully today's will be a little bit more informative. And somebody told me they hated the way that my voice was annoying, and that they hated the way I said Manny. I mean, what the hell? People are so mean. But I don't know. I don't think my voice is that annoying, but I'm sorry if you guys do. I don't try to be annoying, but yeah, I've heard it before that I'm annoying, so oh well, I'll survive. So now we're going to go back to our index finger. This is dry enough that we can do our green. So same thing, and these Illamasqua brushes are really nice because they're super thin. Get all the excess polish off. You don't want any big globs of polish on your brush. Clean the brush off. Little bead on the end. And then, oh, you know what? I better get a little bit more. That didn't look like quite enough. Let me clean this off. And if you're having a hard time, just clean your brush off and start over. There we go. See how I did that? So I went on the very right of the nail, just up a little bit from where I did my first swipe with the white, because you want some of that white to be sticking out. And if you don't have enough polish on the end of your brush, you're not going to get that rounded look. So you just want a little bead of polish. You don't want a crazy amount because then it's going to be too thick. See how I'm doing that there? I hope you guys can't hear that vacuum. My husband's downstairs vacuuming. But if you can, I'm sorry. Just get the excess off there, and then I always do my edge just out of habit because you don't want any white sticking out. So see how we did that there? And then I will let this dry probably about 5 minutes, at least 5 minutes, and then I'll top coat it with Sage Vite. I recommend Sage Vite because it won't drag your design. Some top coats really will drag this design. So I would recommend using Sage, but you know, everybody has their favorite. So I'm just going to do the ring finger real quick. You guys can see again. Okay. So just get that bead. And you want to make sure that you can see the little bead of polish on the end of the brush. It's so hard to explain. But I hope you guys can see. I have the brush clean, and then I just have that little bit of polish on the edge of the brush. And then you just go to the tip of the nail. Okay. Whoops. Last one. Okay, and I'm just going to get that excess off. and do my edge. See how cute that looks? And I'm not going to lie to you, this is a little tricky. You have to get the feel for it. You have to get the feel for how much polish you need to have on the edge of the brush. And just one quick thing, guys, before I go. If you do use a thicker brush, what you can do, you can clean the brush off really good and then just turn it to the side so that you're using, you know, so that you have the brush kind of like this, thin, and then you can do it. But if you're using a thinner brush like the Illamasqua, you don't have to worry about doing that. But with the thicker brushes, of course, there is a way to make the thicker brush thin by pushing it against the sides, get all the excess polish off, and then the brush will be a little bit thinner. But that's a little tricky, so I recommend starting with a polish that has a thinner brush. So now all I'm going to do, I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to top coat it. And that's how you guys do the cloud manicure. I hope this helped you. I hope that it was informative. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the down bar or in the comment box for me, and I will do my best to answer everybody's questions. And I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.